Real as it gets, episode 12. I'm your host, Callum Hickey, and today I have with me Florence Wong, aka Flo. She is a great friend and a work colleague, and I'm happy to have her on today. Flo.
Hello.
Talk to me. So let's start with how we know each other first. I always like to start with how we know each other. So we both work at a place called My Manor, and when you come on, I didn't actually see you for a few months. You were Vauxhall bound.
Yeah, I was Vauxhall bound.
And I was a Vicky boy, Victoria for me. And yeah, I remember being taught. Was I on before you?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I joined April this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were still in lockdown, so I was teaching a lot of Zooms.
Yeah, and I just remember someone showing me your profile. I was like, fuck, she's a machine. She's a machine. Like, she's got to come down and train with us. And then it's only now that we see each other quite a lot more, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, why I've got you on. I think this is quite a fucking, this is epic why I've got you on actually. So I put up a question time on my Instagram, which I normally do. Who would you like to see on the episodes? Blah, 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 blah. And Mass from Manor, he put up something. He was like,
Legend.
Why don't you do an episode with a strong woman who can empower women? And I thought, strongest woman I know, Flo, easy. Asked you and you're here. So hopefully this episode today, we can leave a fucking big impact, man. And any women listening can take something from it.
You make me blush.
Yeah. So let's get into your training, because anyone who knows you already knows you train fucking super hard, right? When did you get into training?
Long story.
Yeah, tell me.
So growing up, always been quite active, heavily influenced by my dad. He even way into his kind of middle-aged years, you know, he was bringing me down to the athletic ground. He was playing shot put. I was never a shot put girl myself, but I think that just influenced me. So I was a little bit of a gymnast, ran quite a bit. I was a sprinter when I was younger. And then, yeah, just going to uni, I just like left all of that behind, just went drinking, even though I can't really drink.
Yeah. It's fun though, isn't it? It's fun.
It is fun. And then all the...
Until it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then until the pizzas and Domino's, all of that catches up. And then that's when I started running again. And then I kind of just got into just going into the gym, going to classes. I was a class passer myself, so I used to go to Manor quite a bit.
Yeah, this was, you just showed me the picture a second ago. Actually, can we get a close-up on that picture, please? Get that picture up for me. Yes, babyface Flo and Ryan, the big dude in the middle. He's one of the people we work with. And if you know him, he actually had hair once before.
Wow.
So yeah, babyface Flo.
Yeah.
So you obviously came to Manor through ClassPass. Did you fall in love with Manor then? Straight away?
I did. I think at the time it was still, so I went to yard work when it first started, and it was very grunt work, like, you know, it wasn't built up.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, oh, okay, well, this is quite different kind of training. I liked the competition in class, so I brought people down. But around that time, I just didn't really know where the competition was. I just knew that I would always compete with myself and others in class. And then I joined F45 and all of that stuff.
You done it all, you done the
did,
F45 bars and everything.
I did, because I think just even in those years, in my early 20s, I was just quite self-conscious.
Yeah.
Just even when I was growing up, throughout my teenage years, I was always very self-conscious, and that's why I used to run myself to the ground, do like 12, 13 classes a week, just because. So that was my training background. And then one day a friend asked me if I wanted to do turf games.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, go on then. Went down. Obviously, we didn't do that well, but just being there and seeing so many great athletes, that made me want to be better. And then I looked into how I could be better, and that was strength training, actually having a program.
Yeah.
So I did that. I had a online PT for a little bit before I got a place at the London Marathon, so that was a little bit of a blip. So had to train for that. I was glad I did it. It was great. But straight after that, I just knew that I wanted to focus on strength training. I wanted to do CrossFit and just get really fast and kind of compete in things. And then the rest is history, so I won't.
And how long have you been doing CrossFit since?
About 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've only been doing it 2 years and you're that good.
I'm not that good.
You are good. You're so fucking humble, man.
No, I mean, it's just every time I compete and I see so many great athletes, that's when I know that I've still got so long to go.
That's fair. That's fair. The job's never finished, as they say.
Exactly.
And how did you find your coach, Coach Fufu? Well, that's what his Insta handle. I don't know. I don't know his actual name yet.
Yeah, his name's Faraz.
Nice.
Found him. So, I met him at Turf Games, actually.
Oh, okay.
So he was leading one of the arenas. We got talking. We started following each other. And then I think I was dabbling with CrossFit when I was traveling in Australia for a little bit, doing handstand push-ups, and they looked awful. So I think he just messaged and said, yeah, you don't do it.
Yeah.
So then he was just there just as a friend. And eventually I just thought I need some programming. And
did you fall in love with CrossFit straight away? You know, some people are sort of like this, like Marmite, right? You get some people that's like, nah, it's too intense.
Yeah.
But CrossFit gets quite a bad rep, but it's not bad. The reason I saw a good fucking interview about this, I can't remember who said it for the life of me, but they were like, CrossFit gets a shit rep because you get people who are not experienced looking at the elite. They'll look at a workout Matt Fraser done and the weight he done it in, and they'll try and give it a crack and then wonder why they get injured. It's like they haven't built themselves up to earn them stripe shit or...
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I say it gets a bad rep. But the vibe, the community's unreal.
Yeah.
I loved it. When I did it for a couple of years, I was CrossFit cow.
Yeah.
No gymnastics or nothing, just clean pretty much.
Oh,
and I did love the buzz. I loved it. Would you do anything else?
I would. Actually, you know what? I did do a bit of combat sport. I did do Muay Thai for a little bit.
Oh, did you?
I think that's still something that I would perhaps continue later on once I'm kind of...
Sign up for a fight.
I will eventually. I do find that I have a little bit of aggression in myself that I haven't really explored yet.
Fair enough.
So right now on the barbells, next on a person.
Fair enough. Did you get any stick for when you started training and your body started to change?
Yeah, definitely.
You did?
Yeah. I think, so when I was doing all that F45 stuff, all of that, I think the aim was to look as skinny as possible. In all honesty, at the time, I just thought, even though I look back at photos, I'm like, yeah, I was quite small. I didn't think I looked small. So when I first started CrossFit, and obviously it's quite upper body heavy, and my shoulders were naturally a little bit more broad anyway from previous sport. I did get quite self-conscious. I remember speaking to a nutritionist at the time, and they're like, well, that's the natural trajectory, in all honesty, if you're going to get good at it.
Of course. It's fucking like the amount of work that goes into it. And this is what I hate. People will get trolled about it, but it's like you don't understand the amount of work that gets put in.
Yeah.
It's easy to sit at home and be a lazy fucker, but to actually go out and get your 2 sessions in a day and get the food in and get the sleep in, and for someone to just go, oh, you look, you're putting on too much muscle. It's like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, exactly. So it did put me off. But then at the same time, I think the gains.
Yeah, standard.
just
was there a point where you started to notice your gains and go like, fuck, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Especially for women, if you're going shopping at Zara or anything, you already struggle with sizing because everything is different.
This is the thing, because you lot get so much shit about having to look a certain way. Like it's rough, man. So the fact that you can actually sit there and go, you know what, I look sick, I look amazing, I'm comfortable with myself. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I think for all the ladies, they'll probably understand what I'm talking about. So especially if you do have broader shoulders or whatever, your long sleeves are never going to fit now. But then if you wear something short sleeve or sleeveless, then it's going to be back to your size. So that's my problem right now, where if I buy something long sleeve, I might need to buy a bigger size, but then it doesn't fit my actual body.
Okay.
Same thing with jeans and all that. If you've
just
got
the quads.
Yeah.
Quad gains,
if you've got the quads or if you've got a bum, then it's just natural. So.
And then what was like, was there a specific comment or something that really got you down at some point? Was there, because there's obviously, there would be other women going through this shit as well, right? That want to take the same journey as you, and they might have not handled it as better as you have. So
in all honesty, I think it was more my mindset that was the issue rather than any specific comments, because all I've had are really compliments, but I perceive them as, oh shit, I'm looking too big. So essentially, women will come up to me, and I've actually had a mum come up to me, go like, oh, are you a gymnast? You've got broad shoulders, you look strong. But at the time I perceived that as, oh, I'm looking too big. That's why they're saying this to me. And now I obviously understand that, and I would take that as a compliment. But I think during lockdown, that was when I did feel quite down on myself, because I started working out in a car park just outside my flat. And then there were these you
I can
know,
just imagine
teenagers.
Ryan. I can imagine Ryan going, "What's wrong with a car park? What's wrong with a car park?"
No. Essentially, I was just outside,
Yeah.
and there were these guys kind of just riding their bikes and just driving past, and they were just like gesturing like ooh, 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 like that to me.
Little cunt.
So yeah, it didn't feel very good. But then I thought, hey, you're just on your bike. You
Yeah.
can't really do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm really trying here.
And
So,
not many people
didn't
can.
really care.
So that must be fucking wicked in itself, thinking that, like, yeah, you could take the piss,
Yeah.
but you couldn't do half of what I could do.
Yeah.
So that must be good.
Yeah.
So what would you tell women that have gone through the same sort of shit you have, as in how they could deal with it in their best way? Like people that have been trolled in a bad way, or like what's a good way of them switching their mindset?
Yeah. I think my biggest one would just be just focusing on staying in your lane. And as long as you know what you're doing and what your goals are and thinking about how you're achieving those goals, anything else that is on the side doesn't really matter as much, because, okay, fine, we will get self-conscious more aesthetically because we don't, I guess, obey the norms of what feminine beauty should be. But then why are those ideals there? It's just according to one person or one company, and you can create your own. So as long as you kind of focus on that, I feel that you would be more comfortable in your own skin.
Love that. Would you say, so anyone that is new listening, me and Flo are both personal trainers, would you say our industry has anything to do with that? Good or bad? Like, yes, it's building up strong women now, but would you say the industry was a bit toxic before, in a sense where it's like you had to look a certain way, especially for women?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we are the reason.
Yeah.
I think coming from the other side, where I was very much into the F45 challenges and the, lose as much weight as possible in I don't know how many days. The whole industry is built upon that ideal physique.
Yeah.
And I'm glad where the trend is going towards performance led rather than
just fucking hammering yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you've done both, right? We all have. We've all gone through that stage where it's like, yeah, I'm going to train 7 days this week because I'm a bit. You start convincing yourself you're doing the right thing, but you're like, hold on, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not recovering. My lifts ain't getting any better.
Yeah.
I feel shit most of the time.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
then you train like an athlete now, so you get that you need the recovery, and
that's
that whole hammering yourself is
Yeah.
it's just shit, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's you can see it from, I guess, the way I train and the way I think is shifting from just thinking of it as, okay, a vicious cycle of I've eaten too much, now I need to train 3 hours to burn it off because the industry tells me to, because it's about burning calories, into actually, no, I need to fuel myself. Fine, I've probably overeaten a little bit. That's going to serve as fuel. Now I can train quite a bit, and then I just get back on track. And I don't think about all of that negativity that the industry kind of gave me initially. So I'm trying to, and I think, we are trending in the right direction, and there are a lot of good Instagram accounts. There are a lot of great trainers, a lot of great material out there that's leading us towards that way.
Yeah, definitely. But would you say Faraz played a massive part in that shift in your mindset?
Yeah.
See, get yourself a fucking coach.
Yeah,
that was a plug, innit? As a personal trainer, get yourself a coach. Doesn't have to be me.
Yeah, no, coaches need coaches too.
Yeah,
that's why I heard.
Absolutely,
and
I totally agree.
Yeah,
it's nice when you've got a coach and you just go in. You don't have to plan for yourself, and they know kind of what's best for you.
Yeah.
When you're planning for other clients, it's just overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you change about the industry if you had the chance? Because that's a tough one, isn't it?
That is a tough one. And
I would start, but this is your episode. If I got onto it, I'd be here all day. I could have a big rant on this.
For me, the biggest one would be inclusive. I can never say this word.
Why? Diversity?
I don't know. Inclusivity. There you go.
Okay.
I struggle with this word. It's not just diversity in the sense of races or anything, but I think just generally everyone. If you look at trainers, obviously we're at our prime because we're in our early 20s, early 30s, whatever. We don't include much of the older population who probably needs it the most.
Of course.
We don't really look at that part. We don't look at, all women or men from all different religions. Some are more so excluded by our industry than others. So really, I think as an industry, we struggle to just involve everyone when, you know, there's money to be made everywhere because we want to get everyone healthy. So I think that's the biggest thing I'd change.
Would you say that there needs to be more diversity? I do. I say it. You know my stand on it. When we've had talks, me, you, Jason, all that, I think it's shit. I do think the industry's shit. I do, and this is probably why a lot of people won't really fuck with me in the industry, because I say it how it is. But I do think a lot of what you see on Instagram is box ticking. Like they'll show one black person and make out, and then they'll preach community. It's like, no, it's not community. It's not at all. If you're in London, the most diverse place in the world, you can't walk down the road without seeing Muslim, Middle Eastern, Christian, black, everything. So why is the industry any different?
Yeah.
And I do, and obviously it sounds a bit, yeah, but you're white. But that's not how I grew up.
Yeah.
So I think that the industry needs to be more black guys, more white guys, more black women, more Middle Eastern, and more Asian, more everything.
Yeah.
And they're just not enough. And a cool thing that Jason, another guy we work with, Jason Coltman, he said the same thing. If you was looking at the industry and then all of a sudden overnight there was loads of people from different diversities, it would almost look like it was done purposely. It needs to be from the top, and it needs to be wanted to happen sort of thing. It needs to be done by someone in charge that actually wants to get this shit done properly, rather than, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without it, I've worded that quite shit, but yeah, I think especially the fitness industry, they're so blatant about it.
Yeah.
That it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the main one, and kind of going back to my point about, you know, whether it's race but also ages and just different people, we're not speaking to enough people from outside of what is perceived to be the fitness industry, which is like this small. Yeah. And there are so many others that we're not reaching out to. So is it because of the pricing of, you know, just we're outpricing the London community because actually most of the Clapham and the Southwest London lot can afford it, but actually there's the rest of, you know, East London who, you know, they might not be able to get into this community per se because it's just way too expensive, and therefore they're not part of the community per se. So I think there definitely needs to be more done in that sense, where we recruit more people from other
or the industry could do better.
areas.
There's ways where you could do group sessions for people that maybe not be able to pay as much. Like there's ways around it. There's just they need to want to do it. And that's what it doesn't, from an outside point of view, it doesn't look like they want to. So that's what I would massively change. Anyway, what would you say to young girls looking to get into the industry that wanted to take a similar path to you, or just get into the industry anyway as a trainer, or what message could you leave for them?
I think
this is where the empowerment comes. Teach them.
I think for me, it goes back to my point about knowing your why. Why do you want to go into the industry? Is it because you want to look like other Insta trainers on Instagram? And hey, you know, I'm no offense to people who do, but is that a very good reason why you would be doing it for a very long time? Or can you see yourself doing it and having a positive impact on someone or yourself? I can't see that to be true for many people, because, you know, if you're just going in and you just want to be sponsored and you know, have a good time, great, but that's quite a short term thing.
Oh yeah, you'll get sniffed out as well. Like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to go into the industry knowing that you want to help people, knowing that you want to achieve something for yourself, knowing that you want to perform, then I think that is a much more powerful thing for yourself as well, and for you to last longer, for you to just create something better for yourself too.
Yeah. Well, is that what was the reason you got into the industry? Yes, you've done athletics and stuff like that, but to become an actual coach, what made you go down that route? Because you could have just continued to be an athlete and you still would have fucking smashed it. You work 2 jobs anyway. You do coaching and then you're with Fever Tree, right? So you work 2 jobs. And even if you didn't have coaching and you got a second job anyway, you would be you'd still be better off. You'd still be an athlete. You'd still be Flo. So why coaching?
For me, back to that point, I really wanted to help people get stronger. I see firsthand the benefits that strength and conditioning training has. I want people to move well. I know the impact that can have in later life. And I just want everyone to kind of follow suit. So I find coaching very fulfilling. And that's why I dedicate my spare time to do so. And even then, you know, I find just joy in actually learning more about our bodies and how different people move. And I think there's nothing, and I don't know about yourself, but there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing someone hit their 1RM in your session.
Yeah. Or, you know, when they're so unsure of themselves, they're like, I'll never get that. I'll never, even if it's just a kettlebell swing, doesn't have to be a 1 rep max. You know, they're just so unsure of themselves. And then all of a sudden you see that big smile on their face and they're like, I got it. And you're like, yeah, of course you fucking did. I had faith the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's the best feeling. It is the best feeling.
It's the feeling that you get yourself, your own epiphanies, and you want to pass that on because it's just great. Why wouldn't you want to spread joy that way?
I like that. Oh, also another thing I want to touch base with you on is I've been seeing this floating around, and obviously as a man, I stay out of it. I don't want that smoke off any woman. Thank you. But you know, the whole compliment in a woman, it can be taken, you know, if you say to someone, oh, you're looking really well, or, oh man, like you're looking toned. Like, obviously it can be seen as a compliment or it can be seen as a negative, right?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that for me, please.
I think it's a tough one.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately it depends on so many things, the way you say it, or maybe what you actually say. You know, when you say you look well, I don't think there's any problem with that. I think perhaps, and I haven't actually seen this, but I can see in certain circumstances where if someone who has been ill and then they've been complimented, oh, you've lost weight, you look well, that would be like, well, are you taking the piss because I've been ill and you don't know my situation? Why do I look well when I've lost weight? That I understand why that could be. I think generally, coming from an Asian background where a lot of families, the first thing they say, and it's a way to greet each other, is to compliment on your appearance.
Oh, really?
For me, I don't mind it too much because I feel like I've just grown thick skin. But I can see why that could be offensive, and I think that's why perhaps we should all be a little bit more mindful of what we say.
What would be an example, like what your family would have said?
Yeah, so obviously just working out and growing the shoulders, growing the legs, and all of that, not on purpose, but just a side effect of doing what I do. They would say that I look like a man, or, oh yeah, you look really, really strong. Are you sure you should sit in the front and in the back seat? I don't think you've got room.
Fucking hell.
I've actually had that.
A bit much. Fucking hell. That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, one of my uncles said that.
Did you punch him?
I should have. Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I should have just. Yeah, exactly. Pushed him out. Just like I should have pushed Boris off the bike.
Oh, you should have. What an arsehole. Yeah, I hope Boris listens to this mug.
Anyway, yeah, so in that sense, obviously that my uncle, that was not a compliment in whatever sense, but I think I agree that we should all be a little bit more mindful of what we do say about others when we meet them. But there are just so many nuances, so I can't say it's a strict.
The reason I want to detail on that one is because obviously I got 3 sisters and my mum, right? So I grew up with 4 women in the house. And you women are always putting yourself down. And obviously, I hate it. I've always had a thing where I hate it because I've heard it my whole life. Not in like I just don't like to see a woman put herself down. So my first thing is if if we was at the gym and someone said, no, I've been getting fat, I'll be the first to say, shut the fuck up, man. You look amazing. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I would say it like that. But then would that be coming across as... No? Okay, good.
I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, you're being honest.
Yeah. But I suppose it's if you're commenting on their actual shape or how they've changed in any sense, that would be...
it's so tough.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think, I
like
I feel for you.
So I'm just
I feel for you.
You look great, and then I just run. Run.
Yeah. I think it is, we, as women, I feel that way as well, where I have days, especially around my period, I'll go like, I feel so fat, or I've eaten like a pig and I feel like a fat pig or whatnot. Most of the time it is just venting, from my opinion anyway, and so I do feel like it's a minefield. But generally, just as long as you mean well, and if for whatever reason you do come across as offensive, then I'm sure you can talk it out, because you don't mean any malice.
You should do workshops No, not for that
I
one
don't
thing.
think
Just a
I
workshop
can.
about
I
that
feel
one
like
thing.
I said
No,
a
you should
lot of
do
words
workshops for
nothing.
like empowering younger women
Oh.
getting into the industry. 100%. I think you could get a group of together, and that could be a good thing, man. Because I would imagine, especially for women, getting into the industry would be super confusing at first because you wouldn't know which path to go down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you first looked at it, did you know you was going to be the athlete you are now?
No.
No chance, right?
No.
I think none of us did.
I think I was, in a way, I think it's because I'm just quite stubborn. And I just picked one goal, which is I want to compete and I want to do quite well in competitions. And I just kind of aimed for that. And I just thought, well, I want to be an RX athlete in CrossFit. And then I just slowly got my way to being a kind of half decent athlete. It's not going to be that easy for many other people because it might just be that they want to help people, but what do you specialize in? Because again, in the fitness industry, there's so much that you can be good at, or you could be a jack of all trades. So I think, again, going back to your why and actually just keeping that conversation with yourself on what is it that I want to do? Why am I doing it? That will help you find what you want to do. I think that's just really important.
Would you say this all helped you with your mental health over the years, like training and being like physically fit?
Yeah.
Because obviously we speak about it a lot for men. Men need the help mentally and stuff, of course. But I've never really heard women talk about their mental health with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because for me, training has helped me massively. I know, like when I've had Foxy on, same thing. He said training helped him massively. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Would you say it definitely got you through some tough times?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, I can go back to why I started training again at university to begin with.
Yeah.
That's when I just stopped all physical activity. I just didn't run or anything anymore. I just got quite depressed in uni. I had an episode of just binge eating and kind of hiding away, and I would just eat and all of that. And it took me a lot of years to realize that was a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it at the time. And then one day I just thought, okay, enough. Just picked up my trainers again, went for a run, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
It's mad that how you are now, though, you would never go back to that, right?
Oh, 100%.
It's strange. It's like you need that sort of... My mum rips the life out of me because when I first started making my own money as a kid, I wouldn't eat home dinners. It was KFC every day. I was a fat little shit, man. I was proper fat. I'll try and get a picture up soon. But because you have to go through that low and you're like, fucking, what am I doing? Like, you do hate yourself at the time, didn't you?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
And then training helped me massively. And it was like, now I don't see why everyone doesn't train.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, I feel like you have to train. You should physically push your body in some way.
Yeah. But I think that is why, in a sense, coming into the industry, it's almost you need to have your own reason why you're coaching, because then you can resonate with people who were in the same situation with you and you can coach from there. What I find is that, and I find quite frustrating sometimes when I see content on Instagram is like, oh yeah, you got to work hard, but you don't understand. Some trainers don't understand why some people cannot or why they can't motivate themselves. Not everyone has that motivation because they haven't experienced that epiphany moment for themselves yet. So the more experience you can bring to the table and the more you know why you're coming in, I think the more you can help other people. Anyway,
I love what you just said actually I love what you just said about you should have your own reason of why you wanted to become a coach, because I was thinking about this the other day. You know, when you get like, I've seen people put up posts and say, I've always known I've wanted to be a coach. I don't agree with that. At 16 years old, there was not one part of me that goes, I want to teach people how to deadlift properly when I'm older. Like, there was not one part of me that, if anything, I got into training and I fell in love with training and what it done for myself. And I would say I'm not the most knowledgeable coach at all. I'm open and willing to learn off anyone. Like, I love learning. If you can teach me something new that I can apply to clients, amazing. I love it. But the reason I got into coaching, one, because I love training myself and what it done for me and my confidence and stuff like that. But two, the reason I think I do well as a coach is because I'm just good with people. And that was my why. I felt like you could come in nervous. I don't care if you're a banker. I don't care if you're the highest class person. It doesn't matter. I will break you down. We'll end up getting along, and then I'll make you enjoy working out. That was my why. It was like, okay, cool. I may not be the best of the best yet. That's the goal, eventually be an amazing coach like the best. But I'll break you down, and I will make you enjoy training.
Yeah.
And that was my why. But I found that I found that after I'd even started coaching.
Yeah.
When I started PT, and I thought, oh, this is a wicked gig. I was young. I was like, it's a good gig. I'm a PT. I get to train.
Yeah.
In your head, especially when you start out as a PT, you think you're going to have like all these hours of PT and you're just going to be living in the gym. And it's like, it's hard to get work at first, isn't it? And then, I found my feet as I went on, and not everyone does that. But that question you said, I really like that, finding your why.
Yeah. I think, like you said, you could, start your career in something. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I went to university or when I started my career in advertising, I didn't know why I was doing it.
Yeah.
I just wanted one foot in the door.
Exactly.
I knew that I needed to earn money. But how do you distinguish yourself from your peers? How do you, find a reason for you to continue in the industry and be happy with it? That's when you need to start asking those questions. So that you know why you're continuing, or maybe that's not for you. Maybe you need to do something else. But yeah, the appeal of the fitness industry is very strong.
Yeah.
Because you get to work out if you like training, you get to work out all the time. Yeah. You get to,
and you're around like-minded people.
Exactly. You're always training, and it's great if you're young and all of that. But then when it comes to clients, then what makes you different?
Yeah,
to
exactly.
someone else?
You remember, when you get busy, you're going to have to stand with 7 or 8 people a day.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it and you don't like breaking them down and teaching them, you're not going to like the job.
Yeah. And for me, at the end of the day, I actually have a different job, and I coach because it's kind of something that I really enjoy.
You've done it as a hobby almost, and you love it.
Yeah, and it's because I've seen firsthand what strength training can do, not just for women, but for men as well. I've seen, a lot of clients who come into Manor classes and they haven't lifted in a long time because of lockdown or whatnot. And then now they're lifting really well. They're moving well. Their injuries haven't come back. And that's what gives me joy.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to continue doing is, for me to coach people so that they can keep moving well and they can move well into their old age.
So that was going to be my next question for you, actually. Where do you see yourself with it all? You're training, yes, and you're coaching in the next 5 to 10 years. Just keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I think ideally, because I do also enjoy what my full-time job is, which is kind of communications, marketing, and all of that. I think in an ideal world, I would bring all of that together. So what I'm passionate about, which is health and fitness, with, my comm skills, and put all of that together. But I would continue to coach people because I just like seeing people get strong. I like the smiles that they have on their faces when they hit a really good set. Yeah. Or when they complain to me, oh, why was that so hard? And then they come back 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, I'm moving well. Oh, yeah, I wonder why. Yeah. So yes, I would continue to do the same, but I think also maybe create a little bit of something that I can own that's merging both sides of me.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Right. That is the end of our episode, but I always like to end every episode with, what's your definition of happiness? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't mean to be cheesy,
no,
but I'm going
cheese.
to be.
I'm for the cheese. Let's go.
I genuinely think it's finding something that you enjoy doing and that you can be your full self doing.
Unapologetically yourself, right?
Exactly.
The whole way.
You don't need to pretend to be anyone else. You don't need to be pleasing anyone else either.
Yes.
And for me, that's just training. Like, I can just be myself, and I've just been really, really happy.
Fucking good answer. Very good answer. Good way to end the episode. Flo, thank you for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Episode 12, done and dusted.
Great.
I'll see you for part 2 soon.
Oh.
Hey, part 2.